To remain vigilant, the Division of Wildlife is continuing to monitor for the presence of chronic wasting disease in Ohio. Although it has yet to be found in our wild herd, we need your help. Please watch this video to learn about how you can assist the Division of Wildlife with these efforts. Watching this video, along with completion of the accompanying test, will fulfill the requirements for the Taxidermist and Processor certification. This certification will allow you to accept whole cervids and cervids with high-risk parts attached from out of state as long as the animal is properly disposed of after completion of your services. If you are not familiar with CWD, it is a fatal neurological disease that affects members of the deer family, including white-tailed deer, mule deer, elk, moose, and caribou. CWD is caused by naturally occurring proteins called prions that become misfolded, creating holes in brain tissue and resulting in eventually death. Once an animal is infected, there's no recovery or cure for CWD. Can you tell by looking at a deer that it has CWD? Well, the answer is no. Let me explain. See the picture of the deer on the right-hand side? I think we both can agree that this deer appears to be in pretty healthy shape. A deer as healthy looking as this one can have CWD. In fact, a few days after being captured on trail camera, this buck was shot by a hunter in Wisconsin, and the deer tested positive for CWD. Whitetails can carry CWD for 16 months before they show visible symptoms. During the incubation period, they may appear healthy, but they're still spreading the disease. As the disease progresses, animals stagger, carry their heads and ears lowered, drool excessively, and show little or no fear of humans. They will eventually lose body condition and appear weak and emaciated, such as the deer in the picture on the left-hand side. Now, sometimes this can be confused with other diseases that whitetails can carry. The only way to know for sure is to have the animal tested. Where has CWD been found? It has been found in the United States, 3 Canadian provinces, South Korea, and Norway. The above map shows the current distribution of CWD in the United States. It has been detected in free-ranging cervids in 24 states and 2 provinces, and in captive cervid facilities in 17 states and 3 provinces. As you can see, Ohio is on the map and has been since 2014. In the next 2 slides, I will give you the history of CWD in our state. CWD became a reality in Ohio on October 23, 2014, when it was detected in a captive white-tailed deer in a shooting preserve in Holmes County. During the fall of 2014, the Ohio Division of Wildlife created an 8-township CWD management zone in the area of the pen and tested about 300 wild deer. CWD was not detected. The second positive case was found in a breeding facility also located in Holmes County in March of 2015. In April of 2015, the herd at the shooting preserve facility where the first case was detected was depopulated, producing 0 additional positives. The third positive case was found in the same breeding facility as the second case in May of 2015. In June of 2015, the captive herd was depopulated at the breeding facility, and a total of 16 additional deer tested positive. Because there were several deer that tested positive in the breeding facility, targeted surveillance was conducted around the area of the pen in August of 2015. 18 wild deer, including 2 escaped captive cervids, were tested. CWD was not detected. During the fall of 2015, a 10-township disease surveillance area was established in law for a minimum of 3 years. Hunters who killed deer in any of these townships were required to bring their deer to an inspection station for sampling. CWD was confirmed in an adult male captive deer that was shot on a hunting preserve in Guernsey County in January of 2018. The deer originated from a breeding facility in Walnut Creek Township, Holmes County. A new disease surveillance area was established into law for the 2018-19 deer season and consisted of 7 townships between Holmes and Tuscarawas counties. The 2020-21 season is the last year for this DSA unless a positive case would pop up. Between 2015 and 18, 1,763 hunter harvested and 71 road-killed wild deer were tested within the DSA. CWD was not detected. The captive herd at the breeding facility where the CWD positive buck originated from was depopulated in March of 2018. 2 of 92 deer tested positive. This was the 22nd CWD positive in captive deer in Ohio. In May of 2020, CWD was detected in a captive facility in Wayne County. The herd was depopulated in early August of 2020. To date, CWD has not been detected in Ohio's wild deer herd. Now that you know where CWD exists, it is important to know how it can spread. CWD spreads through direct animal-to-animal contact or by contact with saliva, urine, feces, carcass parts of an infected animal, or contaminated materials in the environment such as plants and soil. Prions released into the environment through bodily fluids or diseased carcasses are extremely resistant to degradation and can remain infectious for years. Prion concentrations are highest in these body parts of a cervid: brain, eyes, spinal cord, lymph nodes, tonsils, and spleen. It is important to take precautions when handling these parts. Currently, it is illegal to bring high-risk carcass parts into Ohio from anywhere outside the state. Hunters who hunt in a different state can bring back the following cervid parts into Ohio: antlers, antlers attached to a skull cap from which all soft tissue has been removed; deboned meat; quarters or other portions of meat with no part of the spinal column or head attached; meat that is cut and securely wrapped either commercially or privately with no part of the spinal column or head attached; upper canine teeth from which all soft tissue has been removed; hides and capes without any part of the head or lymph nodes attached; finished taxidermy mounts, or soft body tissue wrapped and packaged for use by a diagnostic research laboratory. When hunting out of state, it is important to know the rules of transporting parts or carcasses of cervids. If an out-of-state hunter is successful when hunting in our state, it is recommended that they consult with their state agency's website or contact them to learn the rules on what cervid parts can be brought back into their home state. A new rule on importation of cervid carcasses and parts was proposed to Wildlife Council in early July 2020. With the new regulation in place, as a taxidermist or processor who is certified, you may now accept out-of-state whole cervid carcasses legally harvested by Ohio hunters. Why the change? Current rules do not permit the importation of whole cervid carcasses or high-risk parts to prevent the introduction of CWD. Certification is voluntary. Those who do not elect to be certified cannot accept cervid carcasses or high-risk parts from out of state. This change allows cervid carcasses or carcass parts to be brought back into the state if those items are delivered to an authorized meat processor or taxidermist within 24 hours of entering the state. When handling cervids, there are some important precautions to take. Hunters, taxidermists, and meat processors should follow these steps to help decrease the risk of CWD exposure. Wear rubber gloves, debone meat from the animal, minimize handling of brain and spinal tissues, and disinfect cutting tools and surfaces with a 40% household bleach solution after each use. For best results, soak at least 5 minutes in the solution. Disposing of the remains of all harvested animals properly will reduce the chance of spreading CWD in our state. For disposal, use a trash company where the trash goes to a licensed municipal solid waste landfill, which accept animal carcasses. It is recommended to double bag high-risk parts. If you don't have a trash pickup service, dispose of the parts by taking them to a licensed municipal solid waste landfill, which accept animal carcasses.
We ask that you don't burn or chemically treat any carcass or parts, as this will not destroy CWD prions. Throwing or dumping a carcass or carcass parts out back in the field for scavengers will only contaminate the site if the animal was CWD positive.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. It is our responsibility as wildlife biologists, hunters, and those of us who process deer to do what we can to protect our herd. You may now take the test, which will fulfill the requirements for certification.